So welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we're going to be just doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the potential of football returning. Do you want to start things off, Jake?
So obviously, with the return of the Bundesliga and the possible return of the Premier League and obviously like the EFL, all the major leagues might be making a return. And today we're just going to speak about whether or not they should come back, or whether it's too early, or whether the season, or whether all the season should have just been scrapped. George, do you want to get us started in?
All right. So I was going to start off with the Bundesliga. What do you think it's a good idea, Jake, or do you think it should have just hold on a bit?
I think they should have just scrapped it. I think they should have scrapped every single season.
What, just voided or like promotions? How do you think what would have happened to the promotions?
I think the season should have stopped, been like done, and then promotions and relegations still happen, but obviously with relegations it's a little bit different. So they should do it on what's it called, like points per game or whatever the thing that they were going to do it. Because I swear with EFL they were going to do points per game with promotions and relegations, but I don't really think that's a good idea because that puts our team, Posh, in a little bit of a sticky one.
Yeah. So would you just say no? Why? What is your main reason for no? Just because it's too early? There's still potential of people catching it.
No, well, yeah. As soon as one case within football picks up, then the whole thing happens all over again. Another pause, another break. It's not like it's too early. Like in Germany, they haven't had as many cases of the virus, but the people that we've spoken to, they've said some of them have said they're treating it as a pre-season within a season. That makes me think that they're looking that if the season does go back, which the non-league hasn't, but if the season did go back, then they're looking at it technically as a start of a new season. They should have just scrapped the whole season and actually had the start of next season be the start of next season.
I sort of agree because it's a lot of money as well, because apparently they're doing it 2 tests per week, and obviously some people are not getting tested, and obviously some people like footballers will get tested twice a week. That's a lot of money. So in that instance, no. But then obviously there is the money issue as well with wages, people having to minus their wages, but it's also kind of good because some of them are actually giving the NHS credit that they deserve, because obviously it's not just now that the NHS needs the not the money, but all the so-called clout. But now they need it as more than anything, and it's good that football as a sport can come together and help beat the virus.
But let's be real. Going back onto the wages, like players taking 80% cut. Players like Lionel Messi taking 80% cut. He's with a 20% wage. He's still on more than the average person, more than like the average middle class person. So
yeah, that's true.
The club really, Barcelona, they're not really I don't know how to say it, but they're paying players too high still. That I think Lionel Messi should be on maybe even 5%, 10% wage. I'll do the maths later. I'll put it somewhere in the video. But in fact, actually, I'll do the maths now. George, keep chatting.
So yeah, talking about what Jake just said, wages. I think it would have been better if all the top divisions, so Serie A, the La Liga, Premier League, Bundesliga, all of them leagues should go more than a wage cut, and maybe so they could I don't know what the word is, but so the lower leagues don't have to do as much. So the Premier League players could, if they get a less of a cut, then that means more of a cut for the lower leagues. So see, they need it more.
I've just done it here, right? I think Lionel Messi's on about I think it's 450,000, isn't it?
Something like that.
If he had a 5% wage, he would be on that much. If he was on 5% wage. So him being on, what's he on now? He's on 20%. Well, probably not now, but he was on 20%. So let's clear 450000. Take away 18%. He's still on 90 grand. 90 grand.
That's mad. Like, football is like, it's not as what it used to be. Obviously, we can't really talk as we're younger, but I've heard like it used to just be for the passion of the sport, no money. Well, money was involved, but not as much money. And
You
now
probably
it's just a money game.
back in probably, let's say, when Coventry won the FA Cup, they were doing money, but they were doing football because they loved it. The money was the bonus. Nowadays, it's the other way around. They're doing football because they love the money. The football's a bonus.
Yeah, if you think about it, like teams, like the big teams, they're getting so much more money than the little, like, you say the Championship. They're teams coming down from the Premier League, which have millions and millions, and then you've got teams coming up from League One and League Two, which have not hardly any money. So, talking about the Championship, that's making a return apparently, maybe even possibly sooner than the Premier League. But personally, I think the Premier League should be played out. The I don't know. It's hard. It's really
I don't
hard.
think the Champions League shouldn't happen because obviously there's bans on players on flights taking place. So obviously England, Boris has now made it that you can't fly in or out. So if Champions League happens, then it would just be enough. It would be a shambles, utter shambles.
What do you think about the lower leagues? Obviously, they've not officially made their decision, but League Two is most likely to be voided and none. What do you think about that? Think it's the right idea for the lower league?
Ain't League Two and League One working together though? Like with if League Two gets null and void, then League One gets null and void. I've read that somewhere, or it's like because everywhere's saying League Two have voted to their season just to stop, and League One didn't get to vote and stuff. But going back to the money aspects with League One and League Two teams, like I'm sure you've been getting emails. Posh have been doing quite a lot of deals like with their clothing and stuff.
Yeah,
because they seem like they're lower money. They seem like they have no money. Well, they obviously have money, but they need more money coming in to get to pay players' wages. There's some players at that club that are on quite a high wage for a League One player.
Yeah, very
like
true.
Your Ivan Toney's, like I know he's out on loan at the minute, but like your Marcus Madison's, like your George. Well, I don't even know how much George Boy's on, but I'm sure he's on quite a bit. So, League One and League Two, they should just get stopped. I don't think it should be null and void, but they should just get stopped. Promotions, relegations happen. I don't think any playoff promotions should go ahead because obviously that's playing more games. But so top two, Coventry and is it Rotherham at the minute in League One?
Yeah. No.
Them two should go up without a doubt, especially Coventry because they're cruising. And your Swindon and your Crawley, and there's another one as well. They should go up, no problem. But teams that are in playoffs, I know we're in playoffs, but teams that are in playoffs shouldn't go up.
Surely that isn't fair though. Like, because I think what they're thinking of doing right now, which is most likely to happen, is the teams in the playoffs play a neutral ground to just play one game, just like the playoffs, but in a neutral ground, not big. So like maybe grounds like, I don't know,
that sort of places,
Birmingham, yeah, stuff like that. Not really big. That's apparently what they're doing. So I don't know. It's crazy what's happening right now.
What do you think about the Premier League? Do you think Premier League? Well, obviously you've said that you think it should carry on, but if it doesn't carry on, do you think Liverpool should win the title? Do you think the relegation should happen?
See, I don't. If it gets stopped, I don't think anything should happen. I think it should just carry on with the season. Loans should just carry on until the actual season, the next season. So, because if you think about it, obviously Liverpool's never won the Premier League, and if they win now, then everyone else is going to call them. Obviously, they're the plastic clubs to go to. But if you think about it, they're not won the Premier League, and they're thinking this is the season we're going to win it, and obviously this has happened. So, it's not properly winning the league. So I don't think they should. And think about your teams that are 1 point off. You see Watford down there. They want the season to carry on because obviously they're would say a Premier League team now, and they're getting they're near the relegation, and they don't deserve to go down if they haven't finished the season. And like West Ham, I know they're in the relegation. They don't deserve to go down if the season doesn't get finished.
I think even if the season does finish, I think West Ham probably might go down. Wait, West Ham in relegation, are they?
I swear that. Wait, I'll check. I swear they were 18th.
I think Villa are 18th, and I think it's Villa, Bournemouth, and Norwich.
I know Norwich is bottom.
Yeah, everyone knows Norwich is bottom. Well, even if the season does get called null and void, as you can tell, Man City. I think Liverpool deserves the title, without a doubt. Even if it's null and void, Liverpool deserves the title.
I personally don't think they should.
They've worked.
Oh yeah, no, it's Bournemouth, Aston Villa, and Norwich. West Ham are 16th, but they're on the same points as Bournemouth. They're only ahead of goal because of goal difference. So how do you think that means what do you think that means if promotions and relegations do go along? What do you think that means for Bournemouth? Because obviously they're on joint points with teams two places above them. So obviously they're not going to be they're going to be furious.
Honestly, if Bournemouth go down, I'll be gutted. I like Bournemouth. I like the Bournemouths. I like the Burnleys. I like the Sheffield Uniteds. The Wolves. I like them sort of clubs. They've got stories behind themselves. They're like they're proper clubs, if you get what I mean. So
yeah,
if this season, but if this season does get null and void, all of them teams that I've just listed probably going to be gutted. Because Sheffield United is their first season that they're not going to get relegated. Like every time they've got to the Premier League, they've gone straight back down. This is their first season that won't happen. And Wolves are in Europa League. They you can tell that they want that to carry on because obviously they're in Europa League and they're fighting in Europe. Oh.
So yeah, if you think about the Sheffield United and Wolves, Sheffield United are 7th and Wolves are 6th. So obviously, they're going to be annoyed. What do you think will happen to the Champions League and the Europa League? Because obviously, if the season gets null and voided, what's going to happen to that the Champions League and the Europa League next season? So obviously, you don't know how. Do you think the top 4 should get it? The top 6 should get it?
I don't think countries will let Champions League and Europa League happen. I think, personally, if what Boris is doing with our lockdown, he's relieving it at a stupid time, which means we'll probably be in lockdown again later on in the year, which means that the government won't let other countries in, which means that teams can't play football. And if Champions League and Europa League does happen, then that's crossing players' borders, which means say what's his name? Adama Traore has coronavirus. He goes and plays in Germany in the Europa League, and he gives it to one of them players, and then it spreads throughout Germany again. It's just I don't think Champions League and Europa League should happen for a few years.
Let's just say it did. What teams do you think should get it? Do you just like talking about the team situation, just think it shouldn't happen at all?
If it did happen, I think the teams that are higher up the table should get it. Like the teams that finish that. So if the season gets null and void, the teams that were in them like the Champions League, Europa League positions, they should get it.
But what do you think would like Wolves and Sheffield United? They're not in the top 4, but obviously they've got a really good chance because obviously it's quite tight at the top of the table, apart from obviously Liverpool. But yeah, it's quite tight at the top. So what do you like? Do you not think they would protest and say no, that this isn't happening? We want the Champions.
No, I doubt Sheffield and Wolves will protest because they know they're not a top 4 team. They know that they're positive they're top 6, both of them, but they know that they're not top 4, so they won't try and protest against getting into Champions League.
Well, what about Europa League?
A team, well, yeah, Europa League, they'll protest if they ain't in it. But a team like Wolves and Sheffield United aren't ready. Well, Sheffield United especially, they ain't ready for European football. Wolves went into European football too quick, for my opinion. But the Wolves fans are loving it, which is good. What do you
And
think
if you
about it?
think
What's your
about it,
opinion?
they're like all the teams that have come out Europa League. Celtic are out of it. Porto, I think's out of it. Ajax are out of it. Obviously, Arsenal are out of it. They're big teams, and you've got the little old Wolves. They're still in it. So obviously, that's probably not going to happen this season. I don't think. I don't think that should carry on this season. I think that should just nothing should happen. It should just end.
Yep.
Because obviously, like you said, that goes into a country. If one player's got it and the test has like failed, and that goes into like Germany, Spain, Italy. Obviously, that could cause Italy to erupt again like it did before. So
Yep.
yeah,
And you can tell the Italians they're known for being an older population, which means that they're affected more. I think that's probably why they've had more coronavirus deaths and like cases and that, because they're an older like known for being an older country, like with older people. So if a footballer did go and pass it on to another footballer, that footballer will give it to their whoever, and then their whoever will give it on to their whoever, and then eventually it'll reach old people, and then the country will go into their lockdown that they've had, and just be a shambles.
moving on. We're going to talk about non-league now, because obviously their season's been voided. That's. Do you think it was too early?
Mm,
Because obviously there's not as many fans, so they could probably fit like, say if it's like, let's for an example, Yaxley, they're obviously quite far down. They don't have as many fans. They'll probably like have maybe 200 max a game. So that should be like when it gets a bit better, which we don't know. But maybe in the summer they could play. But obviously that their season's been voided. What do you think about that? Too early? Too late?
to be completely honest, the teams like your Hashtag United, your Yaxleys, your PSLs, your Northern Stars, them not their season definitely. I think their season should have been scrapped 100%, which it has. But the top three national leagues, the South, the Vacoma South, is it Vacoma? Oh, whatever you call it, the South,
Yeah,
the North, and
we know what you're talking
and
about.
obviously, and the main national league, the one that gives you passage into the top flight of into the top four footballs. They shouldn't have been called off yet. They should go with. If they were to be, because they've been called. Oh, I don't know how to word it, but they should have been called off with League One and League Two.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was well too early to call it, because obviously you've got your teams like Woking. They're 3 points
3 points off.
off getting into the playoffs, so they're going to be gutted. It's so hard to call right now, but I personally think that should have stayed carried on going for it. Well, not carried on going, but waited until they got what the League Two and League One teams what they're doing. I think they should have waited.
Well, speaking of National League, we'll go on to the National League players and what the ones that we've spoken to, what they think about it. And obviously, I'll start with Jaden Wareham. He seems like he really wants to get into the Football League. Well, he really wants to get into the Football League. And Woking would have been a passage into the Football League. I definitely think they would have at least got into the playoffs. And if they got into the playoffs, that would have drove them players. And the players would have tried harder because they want to get into wherever they are.
And done like what Luton did the other season from League Two up until the Championship. They could have done something like that with the momentum building on. So obviously as well, if players like Jaden get into League Two, then there could be more teams like Championship, League One, who are looking at League Two players and pick up Jaden Wareham, pick up the likes of him, like hidden gems, pick them up. And obviously that could inspire their career so much. So yeah, it shouldn't have been voided. They should have carried on going.
Well, not just the Jaden Warehams and not just the young talent in National League. You've got your Ricky J. Jones, who was rumoured to be joining Liverpool. He was offered from Tottenham. I think them sort of players will be a bit gutted that the season ain't carried on, so they can't show other teams what they've got and their ability on the ball and their ability off the ball and everything like that. I think it's just mad.
So you think that you think it should be voided, but you think for non-league they should have waited more a bit longer?
I don't think it shouldn't be voided because they're like teams have played these games. They've had time and they've played these games. The season should just be stopped. The season should finish like with teams where they are. With relegations, obviously they should do points per game. With promotions, no playoffs, just the automatics. That's what I think should happen. What do you think?
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a dodgy one.
Because obviously, for the Premier League, obviously you can't go up, and they're from the Championship. I think it's Leeds and West Brom, top two. They're gonna obviously want to go up, and what's that gonna do to the Premier League? Was it 20 something teams? 20. It will be 22, I believe, teams in the Premier League. Do you not think that's a bit too much?
No, because the relegations will still happen. There'll be obviously because in the Premier League 3 teams get relegated, but if with what I'm saying, playoffs won't happen, so only 2 teams will go up, which means 2 teams will go down instead of a 3.
So it's tough. It's really hard. I feel sorry for the people dealing with all this, the officials at the EFL, and I feel sorry for them having to deal with this at this time. But I want to move on, not much, but just a little bit, talking about the Scottish Premier League, because obviously they've confirmed what they're doing. They've got relegations, they've got promotions. Celtic have obviously won it again. What do you think that means for Rangers fans?
Oh, I was fuming when I saw it. I like Rangers. I think Rangers are a solid team. I like Steven Gerrard. I like what he's done with the club. I was raging when I saw that Celtic have won it again because this sounds a bit stupid, but they should let someone else have it. They should
it's been a while.
Yeah, and obviously Rangers. I found this out. I think it was 2 months ago, 3 months ago. They got relegated in 2015 because of some financial stuff. They've done well to get themselves back to where they are.
Yeah.
Especially with
what about the Hearts? Because I know they've been relegated. What do you think about that?
I think that's shambles, utter shambles. I know a couple of people who are Hearts fans, and they've said that. I don't watch Scottish football, but they've said if the season continued, then Hearts probably would have stayed up.
Yeah, they got. I believe they got a good result against Rangers as well, a decent result. So, I don't know. So it's confusing. Okay. We'll move on to what you think about the Children's League. Like both of us play for a team. What do you think happened there? Because that's been voided. Because obviously there's hardly, not gonna lie, there's hardly any fans. There's just we'll say parents at the games. So,
fans.
Well, parents. There's parents at the games, so obviously there's not many.
Jimmy on the sideline. Come on, side.
So there's not many. Do you think that should have just? Do you think they should have carried on? Well, not carried on playing, waited a bit, or just full on stopped it?
We look at the pros and cons of this one. Pros of it getting stopped. People like us, we go home. We spend time with our family. Like we'll go and visit grandparents. We'll go and visit older people who we know. I think it's good that it's been stopped because it means that we ain't mixing with other people that could have the virus, which means we could pass it on to older people. Go on. What do you think about it, George? Well, I'm pro about it. What's good about it?
Well, obviously, right now there's no pros to the situation we're in. But if you talk like that, a pro of it being cancelled. I mean, obviously, it doesn't spread on. That's a good thing. But I'll go on to another con. A con would be obviously children, we'll say under 8s. They wouldn't really understand what's going on right now. So obviously they're going to be really, well, not confused, but they're going to be sort of confused of what's happening. It's
a bit weird for them, isn't it? We understand what's going on, so we know why we're not playing football. But then the younger lot, they just think football's just stopped because of some nasty thing that's happening.
Especially academy players. especially like young academy players. We'll move on to an academy podcast soon, but I'll just say, for an example, academy players, they're going to be confused what's happening. They're going to be, maybe even if they've got a really good passion for the game, maybe even heartbroken that this is happening. Because obviously, we're all devastated that it's happening. But yeah, I think it should have been carried, not stopped, but paused for the time being. And I think they should have carried on eventually, maybe even leading into the summer. I think it should have carried on.
Well, staying on the topic of academy players, we go on to the higher up academy players. I'm sure you've heard of him, Flynn Clark. He's signed his professional contract, but he's still playing in the academy. He's playing with the under 18s or 21s maybe. He's just coming up to his big breakout. He's almost had a breakout. He's doing well for himself, and now it's just gone. His breakout's just been put on hold like that, which means he's probably going to have to start from the bottom of the professional career again. Like,
it's going to affect, also talking about that, it's going to affect a lot of people, like a lot of people like who are getting that to their peak maybe, or like getting better each day. Obviously that's going to affect them because they're not training like they normally train. They've got to switch it up. And obviously you training by yourself, yeah, it's good and all, but it's not as beneficial as training with other people, which obviously right now you can't do.
We had someone, I can't remember who it was, but he said that he don't like training on his own. Yeah, it's good and all, but he likes doing stuff with other people because it's like physical or something. I can't remember exactly what he said or who it was, but he said training on your own. He basically said what you said. Training on your own is good and all until you need to do physical stuff like or shot stopping or taking shots.
Yeah. And obviously for a goalkeeper, I know, Jake, you're a goalkeeper. It's kind of hard because there's not many drills you could do. If you don't have like a baby brother, there's not many really good drills that you could do for yourself. Maybe like catching practice, you could do that, but nothing proper that you could do because obviously goalkeepers, they're going to be really rusty. I've been watching the Bundesliga. I don't know if you have, Jake, but the keepers, they've been doing decent. But obviously they have kids and that, but like
nowhere near as good as they have been.
Yeah, obviously nowhere near as good as they have been. But if you think about people like us, we've not got many people, maybe parents, but some parents don't want to play, or so it's really hard. How are you coping? What are you doing?
I'm a bit stuck at the minute, mate, because I've been out in the garden looking for solid stuff to chuck a ball at and try and catch it, but because I don't have a rebound board or I don't have a wall in my garden or something, it's hard for me to train. I just got to throw the ball up in the air and catch it. But I went down to the park the other day with my dad. He was taking shots at me. I'm nowhere near as stable, should I say, on the ball, like with my hands, as I used to be. But everything just takes time. It's going back to that old thing, starting from the bottom, working your way back up. Well, George, you haven't played a game of football since what? January? No, December.
Yeah,
because a team you weren't happy at, blah blah blah. You left and then signing on to the other team. Yeah,
pages.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So I personally, I've been getting out most days, going outside, doing a bit of kick practice between like just me. Personally, I like what can't remember who said it. Like you said, I prefer doing like team like maybe team games at training, just training with other people. I prefer, and I think it benefits me a lot more. When I first got into a team, I wasn't that good. I think I've got a lot better since I've joined these teams, and just training with other people is one of the best things that you could like. It could, I don't know, get you better training with other people. I personally think that's the best way to get better. So it's going to be hard for me to come back and carry on training and carry on playing games.
Before I joined the football team, I was training in my garden day in, day out, like just kicking a ball about and going in and out of cones. I joined a football team mixed with other players who all of it, I must admit, all of them were better than me at the time. And just like that, within my first season, I got most improved at presentation. Like the second season, I got players player. the third season I got manager's player because I've been trying and playing as hard as I can, and mixing with other players who can influence your game a bit more makes playing football more fun, B more easy to learn, and obviously just makes it easier to train because you've got someone who can tell you your positives and your negatives.
Yeah, I agree. You can learn off other people. That's a big thing. Like for me, I've been because obviously I don't know what I was doing with my life before, and now Bundesliga has come back. I've been watching that. I've been not taking tips, but like having a look of how the because I've not really been into foreign football. Having a look at what, having a look at what other players are doing and try maybe build myself onto that and try get better that way. But obviously it's really hard to do anything at this point right now. Obviously to do with football. Football is like right now one of the, well, not lowest, but like quite low of what we're doing right now, because obviously the most important thing is obviously people's safety, and obviously football, if it comes back, then they need to make sure it's 100% safe for players, maybe even fans later on in this thing. How do you feel as a football fan going to these football games like Peterborough? And we've been to quite a lot of games this season. How do you feel? Thinking about Peterborough and not going to any of their games for a while, considering going to quite a lot this season?
Well, I think it was when we went to go watch Portsmouth, we go through the turnstiles, and we hadn't been to a football game for I think it was like a month. We go through the turnstiles and go, wow, I miss that sound. That was a month. Yeah. It's already been what, 2.5 months? Well, 2 months ish.
Yeah.
So the feeling of going through the turnstiles is probably
nothing beats it as a football fan.
Yeah, nothing beats it because the sound it makes, and it's just, you know that you're going to be in for a good game.
You're home.
If it makes you happy, you know it's going to be a good game. If it makes you sad, then you know there's no point in being there. You might as well go home.
Yeah, and obviously we're there quite a lot at Peterborough. It's sad to obviously just look around the corner, you see a Peterborough flag. It's just, it's sad that you can't go to a game, and there's nothing you could do about it. And we probably won't be even go to a game for probably maybe even 2021. Because
hopefully not.
Games
hopefully by at least September.
Games might be played behind closed doors. You see what Boris is doing. He's slowly lifting the lockdown, but that could cause it to peak again. And if it peaks again, then we could be in lockdown, maybe even over summer. Obviously, that's going to be so hard for not just football fans, not just for obviously the World Cup, not the World Cup, the Euro isn't meant to be happening. Not just for football fans though, for everyone, the summer is going to be really hard. Like not going out, not going on holiday, obviously because it's really hot. Staying inside, there's not much to do. Obviously, you can go outside for fitness, but it's not the same as going on holiday, is it?
No. Well, going back to you saying you'd be walking down the street or something, you see a Peterborough flag, and it's like you missed the football. I was with my family yesterday. We were having a little drive about, and me and my sister, we saw a posh flag. We just both looked at each other, and just you could tell we both missed football just by looking at the flag. And you drive past the ground, or you walk past the ground, and you just look at it and think, damn, like it's been a while.
Missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's
go on.
No,
just carry on.
Well, let's move on a bit then to the celebrations. I'm sure, well, you've obviously been watching the Bundesliga. You've seen the celebrations, and they're not allowed to hug in celebrations now. Yeah. Do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea, or do you not really take no notice of it?
It's because obviously they're in a football game. They're obviously tackling. Well, I don't want to put it in a weird way, but they're touching each other.
Well,
yeah. So, I mean, they should be able to celebrate as a team. And obviously, I've seen the sub benches. They've been it's a bit of money's been spent on that, and some of the players have even been put in the stands to just separate each other out. And yeah, I personally think the Bundesliga shouldn't have come back this early, But as a football fan in general, I'm glad it did because obviously you've got the football, but I don't think it should have.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest, I think it's absolutely. This is going to be a bit controversial, but I think it's stupid. The fact that they're separating you on the bench, they're trying to keep you apart on the bench. They're trying to keep you apart when you're celebrating. But yeah, it's all right to stand shoulder to shoulder on a wall when someone takes a free kick.
Yeah.
And it's all right to go shoulder to shoulder to win a tackle. You either bring it back properly, or you either bring it back properly without fans or with fans, or you don't bring it back at all, in my opinion.
And it affects the players a lot as well because obviously, they've gone. I think I don't know what it. I think it might be 12 games. Dortmund have gone unbeaten at home, and I watched the Dortmund Schalke game, and I heard the commentators. They were saying that Dortmund, they've been on a good run at home, and they played amazing in the Dortmund Schalke game, but it's like the fans are like the 12th man of the team for Dortmund because obviously they've got the yellow wall. They're one of the biggest terraces in the football league, and
biggest in football. It's the biggest in football.
The biggest in football. Obviously, they're going to be missing it. And I saw at the end of the game, all the Dortmund players were doing like a roll. I don't know how to explain it. They walked up to the yellow wall and as a team, and it's kind of sad watching it as there's no fans and the games are a lot quieter because obviously through the commentary you can hear the fans in the background. It's really weird.
The yellow wall, I just verified it now. The yellow wall holds a maximum of 25,000 people all stood up. All of them people. Well, George, we stand up when we go to watch Posh, and you probably get about 5,000 max in there. You get about 3,000 on a good day, though. The noise in there is amazing. Just think about standing in 25,000 people, all singing, all making noise.
Die-hard fans of die-hard fans of the club missing out on the football. It's terrible. It's messing with people's lives, really. Football's people's lives, and it's messing with that. And yeah,
especially us. We basically live football. We breathe football. Especially people like Ethan, one of our editor. He loves the game. He plays quite well. He's a good player. I think he's not said anything, but you can sort of tell he's missing it a bit. All of us
obviously he goes to Posh games. He plays football. He's got a job in football. So for him, that's bad. For us, for everyone, it's bad. But for sport fans especially, it's terrible.
Well, yeah, going into work around football. I think the only people in football that are actually working for their money at the minute are people who are selling clothing and people who are packaging it with clubs, and people like Phil, who's running the Instagram accounts and the YouTubes and this to that. Other than that, people are basically out of work, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think it's the same for near enough everything.
Yeah, it's terrible, and people like your managers, they're not really communicating as well as they want to with the players. Obviously, they can't stay. They have to stay within the social distancing. So it's hard for everyone, especially people with jobs. They're basically got no job at the moment. They breathe football as well. As Phil was saying, he breathes football, and it's so hard for him. Obviously, he's quite lucky with the role he's got, but players, employees behind the scenes, they've got like no job right now. They feel they've just got nothing to do right now. They breathe football. Obviously, they have no football back, but yeah, it's crazy.
You understand what we're talking about now a little bit more if you've watched Sunderland Till I Die, because you see behind the scenes a bit more, or any football documentary for that matter. You see behind the scenes a bit more, and you understand how many people actually work for a football club. And lower league clubs like the non-leagues, the Yaxleys, the PSLs, the #United, they're more likely to be going under because the amount of people that are working there and not getting paid. they are
Yeah,
they are still getting paid, but not getting paid as much as they were.
and
It's
obviously
it's
that's going to affect the club. It could possibly happen to, what happened to Bury, what happened to Bolton at the beginning of this season. That's going to happen. It's going to become a lot more common. Them sort of um, so-called mistakes, financial issues is going to happen quite a lot more, especially lower down the leagues. That's why I think hopefully I've heard the EFL are giving some clubs that obviously really need it. It's giving them some money to uh, stay alive, you could say.
yeah. We're going to move on a bit to a topic that came up in mainstream news and football news and sporting news at the beginning of lockdown. Tottenham and Liverpool, they both made over 110 million in revenue and still decided to go with a government plan of paying their staff. Do you agree with that, George, or do you think they should never have done it?
They should have never. That's terrible. One of the worst things you could do. Well, not worst things, but obviously, quite a bad thing you could do right now. Paying people who are obviously they deserve it, but it's way too much money. They're getting so much money, and they're like. I've seen football players like I've seen Neymar. I've seen a couple of players donating like over £1 million, which obviously is crazy to just not give away, but
Crazy money.
just
That's a lot of money.
just to give like for free pretty much. It's like nothing to them, £1 million. It's like nothing. So for that I think they should have cut down quite a lot. And yeah,
Do you
Jake.
think do you think Liverpool and Tottenham should have gone with the government plan of paying their I don't think they paid their players' wages with it, but they paid their staff wages. Do you think they should have gone with a government plan, or they should have used the money that they built up from the previous season, where they got 110 million? That's a lot of money.
Yeah, they should have just not kept the money, maybe given some to the NHS, paid the people who are not getting as much money, like we'll say the bin men, like the food, the caterers. They're all
Yeah,
they all going lower on wage, and they weren't getting, not well, they was getting money, but they weren't getting enough money to
let's
their
just say they ain't on the best
part-time
way.
job. Yeah, that was their part-time job, I'd say, going catering for a football team or something like that. And for them, it's like that's quite a lot of money. They don't get. I think they should have paid them. I heard the Tottenham staff, they weren't paying their we'll say background staff. They weren't paying them near enough as money as they should, or like they should get. Yeah, and it's they should have not. They should have maybe given them money and lowered the players' wage, because they're the ones making all the money. Yeah, they're the ones that basically provide for the club, but they're the ones that, and lower leagues I don't know, I can't get my words out, but the lower leagues rely on the money to coming in through the turnstiles, and obviously that's not happening right now, so they're going to go bankrupt, and big teams are not doing as much money as they should.
We're going to go back a little bit. We'll come back to this topic in a minute. But when you were saying about players donating money, Aymeric Laporte, he brought some amateur boxer. His father listed his Olympic gear. The boxer sadly passed away in a helicopter accident. He listed his boxing gear on eBay or something to raise money for the French healthcare. Aymeric Laporte brought it for quite a hefty price tag, and he gave it straight back. Now, players like that who are doing good deeds, obviously, there's nothing that can happen about it apart from giving praise. But do you think them sort of players need a bit more praise than they've been getting?
Yeah, obviously, they're getting a lot of money. They should not should, but it's a good thing to give back if you've got money. Well, basically money to spare. Good thing to give back to the people/team that need it. And obviously, right now the NHS need it, and obviously that could come back to what's the word opposite to like it could come back to praise them in a way, like they could not get the money back, but they could get it back in a different way. So like if it could bring back football if they give money. Well, obviously we're not saying to give money,
Yeah,
but if they
football,
do give money,
football can
it
come
could
back
bring
quicker.
football back. Yeah, it could bring football back.
It gives labs more money for finding a vaccine.
Yeah,
And
obviously getting tests as well. And obviously, if you think about it right now, it's so much money for people in the Bundesliga who's getting 2 tests a week to carry on football. And obviously, that could all just stop. Like you said earlier in the podcast, that could all stop if one person gets the virus.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the lower league clubs in financials about it. Teams like Woking, who have had who last season had a big FA Cup game, and they played against Watford. A player that we spoke to said he thinks that playing against Watford's helped the club because obviously they've got more revenue than they would normally have from that game, and he thinks that will help them survive a bit. What's your opinions on it?
Well, yeah, it's good that there's got these FA Cup runs because obviously that's going to help them in times like this that they need the money. That can help them, and obviously the players. If I've seen a lot with Peterborough this season, if we are on a losing streak, like I saw at the Wickham game. Obviously, I know it was a night game on a weekday, but there wasn't that many fans there like there would normally would be because obviously we was on a really really bad form, and for us to go to a game on really bad form and then to win it and then start going on a really good winning streak, I've seen that brings a lot of fans to the club being on a winning streak. So that helps the club as well because obviously that brings a lot more fans to the games. That means a lot more money. Obviously the fans buy food. That's a lot of money going into the club. But at times like this, obviously they need it the most. And I hope the EFL can start handing out a bit more money because obviously they've got like tens, hundreds of millions. I hope they could like give the money to like we'll say the South Ends who need the money right now, and I hope they could give back and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, going to teams that have had droughts and dry spells. Peterborough, we played Gillingham on a Saturday. There was 4,000 at that game, 2,000 of which got in for free due to this grassroots day. So if technically speaking, there was only 2,000 people would have been at that game that day. We went from that when we were going through our drought. So 2000 when we were going through a dry spell, not winning, and then the last game that we played, I think we got what was it, 10,000. 10,000
in the 10,000s.
Plus part of the ground was shut. So the better teams do, the more financially off, should we say, they'll be. I'm all done here, George. I don't know about you if you've got another topic to bring up, but
talking back to the teams who played the big Premier League teams, because I know recently Peterborough have played, well not recently, but recently in the Football League, Peterborough have played the teams like Chelsea, teams like Liverpool, not Liverpool, Leicester. Yeah.
Liverpool, where did that all from?
You got we've played Burnley this season. That brings a lot of money to the club because obviously they're obviously they're really big underdogs, but there's a possible chance they could win. And like if you think about like playoffs, that could give teams a big boost. That gives them a lot of money. Obviously, that brings a lot more fans to the ground. So I believe if it would, for an example, Peterborough go up, I think that will bring on the first game. I think it'll be a sellout stadium if Peterborough ever go up.
Yeah. It's just come to my mind that Peterborough have got plans for a new ground, haven't we? And do you reckon that will go on hold? Do you think that will still go ahead? And do you think the club will have enough money after all this pandemic? What do you think is going to happen with that?
Questions like that, I don't know. Teams that have planned to build a new stadium, because I know Coventry are obviously building their stadium right now as well. Teams like that, it's hard to tell, but like it should. If they have the money, obviously it will resume carrying on. But obviously for Peterborough, we rely on money. Well, we're not as much as the lower league teams like Woking, but we rely on money coming in from the turnstiles, and it's difficult at this time to obviously get that money. And the only thing,
Yeah.
because like you said earlier, I've been receiving a lot of emails on offers in the shop. Obviously, there's a massive offer in the Peterborough shop right now of because they need the money more than any time. Right now they need the money because obviously this is a global pandemic that's happened. This is not going to happen probably ever again in our lifetime.
Yeah, we probably won't experience it again.
Yeah, we probably won't experience it again because obviously it just came across like so quickly. Because obviously 1 minute it was in China, like the week after it was somehow in England. So
it's all gone like that, like snap you through
yeah,
my hands.
it's so quick. So obviously then they've got to think of what to do. The government, I'd say, are doing a pretty good job to come up with plans like this so quickly. And for football, obviously they've got to obviously think of what to do, pay their players, how much of a wage cut they want to give the players, how much they want, maybe even to donate to the NHS, what they want to do with that. Because I've seen Manchester City, they've been doing a pretty good job. They've given their stadium up to the NHS. They've done quite a lot of stuff to keep everything going.
Thanks for tuning in today and whatnot.
If you like this idea, we've got quite a lot of more videos like this to go out. Obviously, we're going to still carry on with our podcasts with pro players, but we've got quite a lot of other ideas like this one to go ahead. So I think that's all it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening, and see you.